How you pack and what you pack has a real impact on the enjoyment of your travels. Cotton is often a favorite and it's fine, but there's some other options that you should consider, especially given what your laundry situation is and how much space you have in your bags. My name is Lisa. I'm a travel coach for neurodivergent individuals. I went traveling for 3 months across Canada, US, and Australia. I only had these two items with me, a lightweight down vest and a thin, lightweight raincoat. And together they kept me really warm. I also have this rain jacket, which is nice and warm. A bit later on in the video, I'll explain the difference of having these two items versus just this one. I'm going to show you which fabric types are a winner in terms of weight, comfort, wrinkle factor, compactability, and how quickly they dry. And I'll name what I think are the winning fabrics. Let's head downstairs and I'll show you. Assuming that you have to carry your own luggage, then you're going to want to make sure that you can lift the luggage, and part of that is going to be making sure you pack clothes that are really light. So I've completely geeked out here. I've weighed a whole bunch of clothes, and these aren't all my clothes. This is just happens to be what I have with me right now because we're in a transition between early spring to late spring. To weigh the clothes, I put them on my kitchen scale, and I used a plastic container to hold the item while it was being weighed, and zeroed out the scale and weighed them in grams. As you know, most of the world uses the metric system, but for convenience, I'll also include these weights in ounces. Here's the tops that I considered for this project. And the lightest one is this silk button-up. You really can't go wrong with silk, especially secondhand, because silk's so expensive. Now, I think it's just a good all-around fabric choice because it's really light, it's soft, and it's also pretty durable. It does need to be hand washed, but if you're hand washing anyway, then it's not a big deal. It's a bit crumpled now because it's been thrown around here. The next two lightest was this vest top here, and then this very basic t-shirt. It's great for hot weather. Oh, I forgot about this top here that I'm wearing, and it's made of wool. I think it's a mix of wools. It's soft. I don't find it horrible to wear. Possibly not the color that goes with most of my outfits, but I would describe this as a heavy cotton ribbed long sleeve shirt. Oh, this is just getting messier and messier, but this is what I would call my layering pieces. The lightest of them all is this cashmere scarf that I got when I was in India. It needs a wash, but it crunches down into nothing. It's the sort of thing I might pack with me and use as a kind of an extra blanket, or I don't know, it might be nice to fly with. I mean, I have flown with it. The next lightest piece I have is this recycled silk kimono made from this fabulous little brand called Hoda. They're London-based. I would wear it as a cute layer. You could also use it for swimwear cover-up. You could even use it as a bathrobe. So this I would definitely take traveling with me because it has so many uses, and it's super duper lightweight. And sort of in the same vein, this is also recycled sari fabric, but it's a synthetic. It's the sort of fabric that is really beautiful and it dries really quickly, but it kind of makes me feel a bit closed in. I wouldn't wear it in a hot environment. I would wear it when it's kind of mid-range weather. And then I got a shout out for this little cardigan here. It's pretty lightweight and it's super duper warm. So this is made of baby alpaca. It also compacts down pretty well. It's a winner. Okay, let's talk about the heavier pieces. So this is a merino wool tunic hoodie. It's nice and long. Actually, I wear it all the time with the leggings. I think it's the sort of thing, it's a bit crumpled now, but it dries really nicely and there's usually no wrinkles. But it's wonderfully cozy. It's super soft. The heaviest item is this long cardigan, and it's made out of a mix of nylon and viscose. I think it's probably like 2/3 viscose. Probably not coming with me on travels, unfortunately. I wanted just to mention this. This is like a cotton bathrobe. It's the sort of thing that's nice to have while traveling, but because I have the silk one, I probably leave this one behind because it's a lot bulkier. But if I ball them up, this is so much more compact because the fibers are so fine. And yeah, the weight difference is pretty considerable. This is probably not how you're supposed to treat your clothes. Bottoms. Lightest trouser is made with the Tencel fabric again. It's very thin, but because it's a dark fabric, it doesn't, you can't see through it. They're probably not the most flattering on me, but I actually don't care anymore. I like them. Second lightest is this pair of bamboo and cotton leggings. They're a good loungewear option, and they're super compact. So I have two pairs of trousers. They're a similar fabric. This one's feels a little bit softer. This one also doesn't wrinkle as badly, which is kind of interesting. This one wrinkles quite a bit more. They both dry really quickly, so that's probably why they're considered travel trousers. This pair of linen wide leg trousers. I actually brought them with me when I was traveling for 3.5 months earlier this year. I think they make the cut. They're just so versatile and they're super soft. They don't wrinkle too badly compared to a lot of linen. The next heaviest are these lounge pants. They're hideous to look at. I don't even know why I'm showing them to you. So the heaviest one is this wide leg trouser. It's sort of similar to a denim, but it's softer. It's the heaviest by far. Definitely not coming with me on my travels. This is a lightweight raincoat designed to roll up and it fits inside a little bag. I also have this down gilet or down vest, depending on what part of the world you're from. It's super duper duper light. It also compacts down into nothing, or almost nothing. And it has a little pocket that you can roll it up into. This was kind of my winter coat this year. I got back to England in late January and I didn't have easy access to my winter coat. So I actually made do with that down vest and this heavy waterproof. Unless I was going somewhere that I thought I was going to need to be like waterproof 24/7, I probably won't bring this on my warm weather travels. So this is 130 grams. This is 442 grams, and together they weigh 572. Versus this raincoat, which is 812. Note to self, calculate the difference and put it on the screen. Not only are having these two separate items great for keeping warm and dry, they can be worn separately, so it's very versatile. I would definitely suggest having light layers as opposed to one bulkier item. If you're packing for a trip where you're going to need to do laundry, there's a few things you want to think about. Think about your access to laundry. So if you're going to have access to a washing machine, that's great. That means you don't need to pack for more than a week's worth of clothing. On the other hand, if you're wanting to travel really, really light, if you just want to do carry-on only, then you can rely on hand washing, and I will show you my setup for that in a bit. The other thing about washing is that you need to factor in how long it takes your fabric to dry. So the previous ones I mentioned, silk, merino, and Tencel, they dry really quickly. On the other hand, so does a lot of synthetics. They do dry really quickly, so something to bear in mind. And then when you're drying them, a lot of times when you're traveling, especially outside the United States and Canada, you don't have tumble dryers everywhere. In the UK, we tend to hang our clothes up to dry and just make sure there's a heat source and some way to get rid of the humidity so that they don't start going musty smelling. I'm going to show you how I do hand washing when I'm traveling, because it's not always easy or convenient to have the laundry done unless you have a washing machine inside your accommodation. So first of all, you can use the sink, depending on whether you're in maybe a hostel or the sink isn't that clean, or maybe it's not even that big or that deep. I've definitely seen some really tiny sinks out there. This is a 5-liter dry bag. Works really, really great. It weighs virtually nothing. If you are in a situation where you're rafting or paddling, or somehow you want to keep things from getting wet, the main purpose of this bag is to put the items in there, and then you roll it up really tight and you clip it closed. And so that's its main job. But it also works as a little hand washing machine. It's probably the most convenient is to just carry some form of soap that's laundry appropriate. This is a brand I picked up in the States. They're really great. Essentially, it's a dried sheet of laundry soap, and it dissolves in water, obviously. It's got a nice gentle scent. What's also nice about it, there's no plastic. So what you're left with is a cardboard box that you can recycle. If for some reason you can't get your hands on these laundry sheets, then something like the Dr. Bronner's is great. It's mostly known in its liquid form, but solids are easier for traveling. I have this bar of Castile soap. It's kind of nice to have for traveling because you can wash your face, your body, and you can also wash your laundry with it. It's a nice gentle soap. Again, it's just a really subtle smell. For something like this, I might put, I don't know, maybe, depends on the size of the item, but like say 2 t-shirts, and then take one of those strips and maybe a quarter of it, So you got your water, your clothes, and your soap in there. All I would do is like basically scrunch it to agitate it, maybe let it soak for a little bit. If you're washing fabrics that are prone to shrinking, so like wool or silk, make sure the water is like tepid, definitely not too hot. After you've drained out the soapy water, give it all a good squeeze and fill it up with clean water of a similar temperature. I don't know, there's some science behind that. When it's full of water, swish it around, drain it out again. You may want to rinse twice if you think you may have over soaped it. To dry, there's two things I always carry. Well, actually more than two, but I have these plastic travel hangers and they're pretty light. They fold in on themselves like this and they're great. So yeah, so they're super strong. I would definitely dry shirts off of this, or there's some clips if you want to dry a pair of trousers. Probably will travel with at least 2 of these or 3. I think when I bought these, they came in packs of 4. I also carry a portable clothesline, but basically it's elastic and there's these clips. So they're great for smaller items and it can take quite a bit of weight. There's hooks on either end, so you hook it into like the top of the shower or I don't know, whatever looks sturdy and that's gonna have to hold the weight. Very handy. Depending on your issues with sensory, you probably already know that some fabrics are awful clingy or itchy or sweaty. I can't wear a lot of synthetics because they feel really scratchy to me and yeah, just not very nice. Whereas you have things like silk or merino wool or Tencel, which are usually very, very soft and comfortable and they don't wrinkle. So I've heard a lot of people say, no, I can't wear wool. Wool is horrible, or wool is scratchy. If you haven't tried quality merino wool, I strongly encourage you. I have a pair of leggings I'm absolutely in love with. They're super, super soft, possibly a little bit faded now, but I've worn them a ton and they're just like a little hug for my legs. Natural fibers will usually be the better choice because of their weight, their durability, and their comfort. Oh, and also for their performance. I know growing up that we often were wearing these acrylic sweaters and then wondering why we were so cold all the time because we didn't know acrylic is useless when it comes to warmth. Appreciate any comments that you have, any suggestions, if I've forgotten anything, and yeah, please subscribe. I have tons of content I want to share with you in the near future. Your interaction tells me that I'm headed in the right direction with this channel. Anyway, see you next time.